This show is brought to you by flannel. You want to feel like a man's man since the 1820s? Get yourself a fresh flannel and get your ass out there and cut a tree down.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Podguyz Podcast. As always, I'm joined by Will Carey.
Yo, yo.
Thomas Durden.
What's going on?
And the ever-missing Brian Cummings.
Guess he couldn't come.
Oh, boy.
So what's going on, guys?
Nothing new, right? Nothing new, nothing exciting. Doing this podcasting thing.
Hell yeah, man, I'm excited. So the hot takes tonight. What do we got going on? What's some things on your mind?
First things first, I want to give a shout out to the stand-up show that's coming over here into the Scranton area. Got a fantastic show coming up. Some up-and-coming stand-up comedians going to be doing some very funny jokes from what I understand. It's going to be at Madam Jenny's over in Scranton, one of the new hot spots, a speakeasy, so you have to know the password. Check it out. Everbright Events, Facebook. Get out there. Get some laughs. Enjoy yourselves, everybody.
Yeah, tickets are cheap. You can get the VIP seating, which I believe they have is
$20,
which is $20. Not a bad deal. $10 for regular admission, and you get to meet and greet with the comedians and check everything out. So
yeah, absolutely. So that's Madam Jenny's at 126 Franklin Street, downtown Scranton.
So we got to talk. First thing, we got to get them burns from the dumpster fire. All right. Now you run the Weekly Nerd Podcast.
I do.
All right. What is the deal with Star Wars? What's the obsession? What is the love with Star Wars? Because I have my own take, and I'm going to tell you it in a moment.
Okay.
Please tell me.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, Star Wars is a revolution. Okay. And it's not in my eyes, in the eyes of the beholder. Always in the eyes of the beholder. It's the same thing as Star Wars. It's the same thing as Lord of the Rings. It's the same thing as the Harry Potter trilogy. Star Trek. Like no matter what genre of nerddom that you're into, there's always something. And that's a good thing. Star Wars has its own genre. It has its own followers and cult following for that. And that's why it's always been so big. Now, I'm not a particularly large fan of Star Wars, but I do watch all the Star Wars movies when they come out.
So you don't dress like Chewbacca?
I'm not no. Okay. No, I don't go crazy.
All right.
But there are a lot of listeners, and I have a lot of followers from the Weekly Nerd page who are huge into cosplay. So watch where you're going with this. All right, go.
All right.
I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah.
All right. So first things first, he kisses his sister.
Boom.
Right off the bat.
He didn't know.
He
didn't know.
He didn't know.
So he pulled the Rudy Giuliani.
All right. All right. So George Lucas didn't know that he was kissing his sister and that he was getting all these people to follow into a story of incest?
George Lucas wrote the damn thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But no, it followed the way. Listen, everything happens for a reason, bro.
As soon as everybody noticed that he kissed his sister, George Lucas was like, "Oh, got him."
But see,
it's like the greatest incest love story ever.
They were separated at birth. All right, they were separated at birth. One lived like a princess. The other one lived like a street rat. Okay, on a planet that's just desert. He was looking for somebody to kiss, bro. It just so happened to be his sister.
He was looking for love in all the wrong places.
All the wrong places.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So it happens.
So he never rubbed one out to the thought of his sister, is what you're going to tell me.
Listen, he
He
didn't use the Force that way.
He didn't use it. Every man uses the Force that way.
He didn't use it that way, bro. You get way too deep with it. What are your other points? We'll put a pin in this part and let's skip over and what are your other thoughts about Star Wars?
All right. So the guy that he's attacking his whole life or chasing after ends up being his father, and then he ends up in return becoming who his father was that he fought. Am I right?
No, you're wrong.
Absolutely, I'm right, because Luke Skywalker eventually becomes the Dark Force.
No, he doesn't.
No?
He actually stays away from that. He could have. He was going down that path towards the end of the movie.
If you actually look at it, the older movies were in
4,
the
5,
middle.
and 6.
They're in the middle, yeah.
Yep.
The newer movies are later in the series, and the movies that came out about 10 years ago
were the
prequels. So they all came before.
So who is Anakin?
Anakin is Darth Vader.
Anakin is Anakin. He's Darth Vader. But Luke, who is Darth Vader's son, is always Luke.
Yeah, but he ends up using the Force to negative.
Actually, there's a balance to it. There's a balance to the Force.
There's a good and bad.
You use the Force, but it's a fine line with the Force of using it for good and evil. Because if you really look at it, what happened to Luke Skywalker at the end of, or at that final scene when he's fighting his father, he started to use the Force in a negative way, but then he pulled himself back when his father realized what was happening.
Yes.
So
because his Force energy is so large that he says, you know, if I pull him to the dark side, like, this is going to be it. This is going to be what's going to push the dark side over.
And this is why, at the end, Darth Vader killed the Emperor, because he saw what his son was becoming. Mm-hmm. He saw his son was actually following in his footsteps, and he prevented it by sacrificing himself.
Where does E.T. fit into all this?
Nowhere.
That's not true. That is not
absolutely nowhere, bro. Not even close.
That is not true. Because in a spaceship, there is a spaceship that's filled with the same creature as E.T. And in the E.T. movie, when he sees Yoda, he starts to follow Yoda because there's an interlink between them.
What?
Google it.
What?
Google it. So listen.
Brother.
I am not even a Star Wars fan, and I'm going to tell you to Google it and check it out. Because I'm calling it out right
like
as Star Wars fans. I'm going to tell you that that's.
I feel like that's way
off.
Google.
Has E.T. shown up in Star Wars movies? There's a whole village, a whole country that's basically them in a spaceship. Watch. Right? And that's from someone that still. And I don't even follow it. See?
No.
So there's a whole different part of that shit that you guys don't even understand.
All right.
Okay.
See, this is what happened, right? Because it says it right here.
Lucas and someone else, right? Steven Spielberg split shares up where it was like.
See, I like where you're going with this because it brings up a lot of Easter eggs. It brings up cross branding. And it says here, as a gag, Easter egg, cross merchandising, friendly jest, whatever, Spielberg and Lucas have placed enough canon information in both movies to exist in the same universe.
Here's another one, right? So now, E.T., did you ever see the last Jurassic Park movie?
Yeah.
Right? So when
Jurassic World or Jurassic Park?
Jurassic World.
Okay.
It's Blue, right? When Blue gets released and she takes off.
Yeah.
Right? When Blue is getting ready to run up on the neighborhood, that's the same neighborhood from E.T.
You're very observant.
Just showing for facts. That's the same neighborhood that it's getting ready to run up on.
Okay, so we went from incest to E.T. and two separate movies. Like, you are just like your third eye is way open, buddy. Your chakras are so aligned. It's insane, bro. Like, I've never. Wow.
And if you look at it, right, at some point in time, and I'm pretty sure that when I state this fact, it's pretty much true, is that he does at some point become evil.
He does and he doesn't. He self-exiled himself in The Last Jedi.
Yes.
And he was just like a bitter old man in that movie. And I liked the movie. A lot of people didn't like it. I liked that movie, and I liked the one before it, Force Awakens. And I can't wait for the new one because I'm just excited to see what happens with the balance of the Force, because they all follow the same way that the trilogies go.
Yes.
With balance.
There's always a yin and yang.
Yes.
There's always a good to the evil and evil to the good. I think when what's his name? Snoke.
Yeah.
When Snoke was finally killed.
Yeah.
I think there needed to be balance brought to the light.
Yeah.
And that's why Luke had to die.
Because there was no balance.
Because there was no balance.
Okay.
And I think he knew that, but going out in such fashion where he was going against, what's his name?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
When he was going against Kylo Ren, he was just like expanding all this energy out.
Yeah.
There had to be balance because there couldn't be so much good in the world and not enough bad.
Yeah.
And it just evened itself out.
So now you have Kylo Ren
and Rey.
And Rey.
Yeah.
So, which I'm excited to see how that actually plays out, man. I want to see like if Kylo Ren is gonna really be the baddie in the end, or he's gonna be like the good guy at the end. You know what I mean? So. The trailer was bad.
I still can't get over the fact that he kissed. Like, see, you guys just had a serious conversation. I bring it right back.
Why do we keep circling back to that?
Because, like,
circling back to the Star Wars incest.
Will lives in Pennsylvania.
No, let's not talk about Pennsylvania.
Will's got a sister in California that
We're
he's never
not
met,
doing this,
right? And then Will somehow meets in the middle of the country, right? And then still kisses his sister or makes out with this, and we're not supposed to just acknowledge that at all. That's just because they're from different states, like they don't know. Well, they're from galaxies far, far away. It's still incest. Like I still don't get it. Like as soon as I see incest in anything, like I'm just
shut down.
It's just not me. I'm from Pennsylvania. They're like Pennsylvania.
I'm not gonna watch that movie, but.
There was too much brother-sister kissing. Done.
And like,
there's a trilogy to this. Like,
exactly. What? And then the second one, she's all skimped out in that outfit. Like, dude, you know.
But because of Jabba the Hutt, dude. Like, what? He's getting so technical about this.
Really, really technical.
Just because, like, I've never been amazed by it. Like, people are, in fact, they love it. They read the books. They do all kinds of craziness. And to me, like, I just can't get over. Like, I'm not blown away by the special effects because I was born in the 80s. By the time I started watching them, like Jurassic, I'm watching dinosaurs. I haven't survived. I was afraid of dinosaurs for my whole life because of how real they looked.
That's crazy, man. You know what? You know what makes that whole thing is that when they came out with the Solo movie,
yeah,
you know, it's going to be a good segue into our next topic, which is talking about solo artists.
Okay.
Now, we just had a conversation about this, and
you're going to give them the backstory.
I'm going to give a little backstory. Yes.
All right. Let's read the conversation. Pull up the conversation so read along. Because let me tell the viewers, the people that are listening, these guys had my blood boiling, like to the point where I wasn't sure if they were being serious or not. And we'll just the first thing Tony says, he goes, Will's favorite brand, Taylor Swift. And what did I say?
Taylor Swift is a band now.
And funk that. It's all a band or group. And I said she's not a band though. And this is the point where I wasn't sure if they were like messing with me or they were serious. Because then he said, like, the craziest thing in the world. He said, that's like saying Steven Tyler isn't Aerosmith. I said, she isn't a band, though. I wouldn't let it go. I wouldn't let go of the fact that Taylor Swift is not a band. Which
you have a personal thing for her.
No.
You got a personal love, and it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. I like Taylor Swift, and I like the way she looks.
Wrong with her.
I mean...
She's Taylor, like, if you're out there and you're available, I got a guy here that would love to take you on a date.
She's America's sweetheart. You know what I mean? Like, she's been through a lot of relationships, though. Like,
I feel like you would be the perfect guy for her to lead the way.
No, you would be a nice next album, is what you're.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. I don't want anything to do with that at all. I don't want to be somebody's next album.
Her next song is going to be like his CPAP mask.
the beat in the back.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I can't.
She record you.
But the kicker for all of this is that they talked about the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, we go into a whole list of conversation. And I brought up the Jonas Brothers, and I called them a boy band, and they were equal to Boyz II Men.
Yes, and I'm surprised that should have set me off because Boyz II Men. I'm from Philadelphia, okay? We're talking about Motown Philly back again, and the fact that I didn't even pick that up. That you disrespected Boyz II Men like that. I should kick your ass for doing that.
And now at this point in time, I'm laughing my ass off so hard. But then Will responds back, and he said, that doesn't make her a band. And if it was Taylor Swift and the Swifters, sure.